your music, it's your intellectual project. Hey, cheers and welcome to the Captain's Quarters podcast, January 17, 2022. The traditional toast. All right, I emptied that glass out. I had already been stealing some from it anyway. We welcome everybody aboard. We hope we have a good viewing audience tonight. We thank you for being a part of what we're doing. And ladies and gentlemen, I have new equipment here in the studio, so if I make a mistake, oh well, I'm an old guy trying to figure out and be savvy with the technical stuff. Thank goodness I have Davey and Hellfire with me. Anyway, we thank you for being here and welcome to the show. First thing we want to do is welcome our special guests. Our special guests are right there. Adam Lemons and Christy Thomas, Paper and Strings.
Howdy.
Hi.
First question I have, but we'll be asking you questions later, but the first question I have for you two is which is paper, which is strings? I can probably figure it out, but I just wanted to make sure before I say anything.
She's the paper.
All right. Very good. Very good. All right. Well, we'll be asking you all kinds of questions, but please feel free to be a part of the show and chime in whenever you like. I know that you've chimed in from your home on various times and been part of our podcast crew of watchers, and we appreciate that. But now it's time to bring you in. So we've got a new thing we're doing this week. We're going to start doing it this week, and we're going to do it on a historical basis. And since today is Martin Luther King Day, we have a quote from Martin Luther King. Do we have that, Mr. Longwood?
Yes, we do.
Very good. There it is. We must learn to live together as brothers, or we will perish together as fools. That is not more apparent than the way things are in the world today. He was a brilliant man. And the only other thing that I can say, let me think how I want to word this. One of his other better ideas was that we are judged by our character, not by the color of our skin.
Amen.
And I think that's very important, and people keep forgetting that. So today we honor Martin Luther King. Davey, I forgot to put something in the scripting. Did you get the picture I sent of the plaque of Andrew Young?
No.
No? All right. I guess we'll have to make up for that. Oh, there's Max. Max has come to the show. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have a plaque down in St. Augustine that was put there because Andrew Young was one of Martin Luther King's major lieutenants. And in June, you can't have that. Those are pens. You're not going to write anything, so stop it. In June of '64, Andrew Young led a peaceful march to this town square of St. Augustine and was soundly beaten. I have had the honor of meeting Mr. Young twice here in St. Augustine. The first time when he came around to honor the anniversary, and then he was in town again for something else, and I got to meet him again. He was outside the Pirate Museum, and he remembered me, but I guess it's pretty easy to remember me because I'm in pirate gear. But it was pretty cool when he said, "Hey, you're the pirate guy." So that was kind of cool. Andrew Young's a great man, and it was wonderful to talk to him both times. So to Martin Luther King and what it really stands for, ladies and gentlemen, what it really stands for. Let's do question of the week. Now, I'm only doing this question because I'm really bad about this. When do you bring down your Christmas decor? Mine's still up, but I plan on spending some time tomorrow afternoon starting. But I have a third of an acre backyard full of Christmas stuff to take down. It's not going to come down in just one afternoon. But when do you do it? we'll come back to that towards the end of the show. We're going to try to make sure that we pay more attention to getting the answers to our question of the week at the end of the show. But think about it. And Davey, when do you bring yours down, or have you already?
With Donna? Are you kidding me? That thing came down maybe about 4 or 5 days after Christmas.
All right, very good. And what about you, Mr. Hellfire?
Well, they came down the day after Christmas. Mom was just not having it this year.
The day after Christmas. Wow. Is your mom's middle name Scrooge? Hey, so Christy, when do you guys bring yours down, or is it still up? I don't see anything in the background.
Well, growing up, my mom had a rule. We started pretty much the day of Christmas. We were starting to take things down. If you got stuff in your stocking, it went into your room and put away immediately. So that's how we did it when I was growing up. So.
And how about you, Mr. Adam?
My mom always had a rule, what she called Little Christmas, I guess, was when the wise men supposedly came to visit Jesus, was January 15th. And so we were not allowed to take down anything until January 15th. But now it pretty much comes down right after Christmas. I mean, that, the weekend after Christmas, we'll have it down and put away.
Scarlett says, mine usually comes down after the new year at Advent, but this year I couldn't get it down fast enough. Not sure why. Mine came down before New Year. New Year's Eve, maybe. Pagan Pirate. Holiday decorations came down the weekend after January 6th. That's the same way it was with my family. My mother's birthday was January 5th, I believe. And we left the decorations up till past my mother's birthday. And she's passed on now, and I don't run that tradition in my home now at all. So we hope to hear from a few more of you over there. And thank you, Scarlett, and thank you, Pagan. We appreciate you being there and watching us. Thank you very much. Cheers to you. I may have to go get more sangria. I'm drinking sangria tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So the next part of our show just finished today. Oh, very good. Will the Historian. Very good. So this is where we do Meet the Crew. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to two of the crew members of the St. Augustine Swashbucklers, Christy and Adam. They're members of the Swashbucklers also, not just our special guests, but they are members of the Swashbucklers. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is where we ask the question. We put all our crew on the spot. Why did you join the St. Augustine Swashbucklers?
Well, I guess I'll answer. We've been looking for kind of a crew to be involved with. We actually live over in Tampa. Actually even west of Tampa, over in Indian Rocks Beach area, right on the Gulf. And we've been looking for a crew for a while. And there are lots of crews in Tampa. I mean, with Gasparilla and all that, I mean, you've got your pick, but most of those crews revolve around Gasparilla itself. And we love Gasparilla. We love being with our pirate brothers and sisters, but we wanted something more focused on charity and community. And looking around, there really wasn't a lot of that per se. And we got online and really didn't see much of anything. There's one other crew down here that we do volunteer with quite often.
Which crew is that?
The Scarlet Fortuna.
Yep, know them. Hawkeye.
Yep, Captain Hawk.
In fact, I just talked to Hawkeye 2 or 3 days ago and asked him if he would be on one of our Monday night shows. And he because of his job, he may not be able to do it. So
yeah.
He's put he told me that he's going to talk to his quartermaster, and we'll see about getting his quartermaster. His quartermaster is Diego. Diego and I have done shows together. Okay. So it would be cool to have Diego on in place of the captain if that's what we have to do. Their charity program is wonderful. They're a reading program for children.
Yes, they set up this big book tent. They call it the Buccaneers, and they give out books to every kid that comes through. Gets to come and take a book. And they have reading time and stuff like that. It's really good. We enjoy volunteering with them.
You know what? That just gave me an idea there, Adam and Christy. We got a box full of books given to us to give out to the kids at Christmas time here, and we did not give them all out. Next time you're over here for one of our events, I'm going to give you that box, and you can take it back to them, and that'll be our donation to their crew.
That'd be awesome. That'd be great.
All right. So go ahead now that I've interrupted you.
Nope, you're okay. So just on a whim, we actually went up to the Pirate and Treasure Museum in St. Augustine, and we met this cranky old pirate who was doing a tour there, and just kind of fell in love. I mean, and got to talking with you after the tour, and you mentioned your crew, and we came up, I think 2 or 3 weekends after that for a crew meeting, and we were hooked. We've been a member ever since, for going on 6 months now.
Yep, and you've been wonderful part of the crew. Your talents in the music world have been just one. Everybody in the crew has some bit of talent, and I tell people when I talk about the crew that the crew is important because everybody in the crew is like a piece of a puzzle, and when all the pieces are together, you get a very nice picture of the St. Augustine Swashbucklers and all that they do. So we like having you being a part of the show and a part of the crew. So you're stuck.
Okay, we love it. We would have it no other way.
Very good. So let's talk about your music.
Okay.
You really weren't doing lots of sea shanties and nautical theme stuff before getting involved with us, right?
None, actually.
So we kind of twisted your arm in that direction.
Yeah, when we started looking into the cruise, I started learning some of the sea shanties, and but before that, really, no, we mostly, we had a few originals, do a lot of covers, and just were hanging out in doing local restaurants and bars and clubs in this area over in Pinellas County. Well,
you do well when you come over to the fire circle. You sit off in there and at the edge and play a little bit of music here and there, and we appreciate the ambiance that you provide with all the events that we do. It's wonderful to have you there. It's like I say, it's nice to have different people that are part of the crew that can do different things for the crew.
Absolutely.
So did you happen to have some music you wanted to recite us with tonight?
We could do a song for you. We actually kind of have a little swashbuckler song that we've worked on. I like to take songs that are already written and just kind of rewrite the words, not in like a Weird Al style, but just more appropriate to the settings that we're doing. And so I took Rocky Top, good old Rocky Top, Tennessee, and kind of reworked the words to fit a swashbuckler theme. So
all right, well, let's listen to it. Come on, mates.
Ready? Wish I was on a pirate ship sailing the 7 seas. Ain't no scurvy dogs on a pirate ship, just Davy, our powder monkey. Mayhem is the captain on our pirate ship. He leads an awfully fine crew. We sing, we dance, have treasures for the little ones. We'll bring out the pirate in you. This pirate life, it can't be beat. Home sweet home to me. Good old pirate life. This pirate life is for me. We've got mermaids, games, and history. The captain does magic too. So play a game and grab some merchandise and sing a sea shanty or two. Mason and Machete round out our pirate crew. They're young and they never rest. Machete is a firecracker, Mason is an old soul. They truly are our very best. Yeah, they are. This pirate life, it can't be beat. Home sweet home to me. Good old pirate life. This pirate life is for me. The St. Augustine Swashbucklers revolve around community. We do haunted houses and winter wonderlands and do it all for charity. It's pirate life, it ain't always easy, but it's what we love to do. If you love family, kids, and community, then we are the crew for you. So come and join us. It's pirate life, it can't be beat. Home sweet home to me. Good old pirate life. This pirate life is for me. And it can't be beat, y'all. This pirate life can't be beat. This pirate life's for you and me. Whoa.
Very good. That's that. Man, I'm at a loss for words. How cool that is.
I love doing things like that.
So when you're ready for it to go fully public, which it probably just has right now.
That's right.
I can picture that song. I can picture that song being used with Davey taking pictures of everything that's in your song and timing it to the song and having us a really nice slideshow to brag on all the time.
A big attack by my cat.
Yeah, I see that. What's the cat's name?
Which one's that?
Aberlin.
That one's Aberlin.
Aberlin. Very good. So that's a wonderful song, and we'll have to sit down and collaborate a slider video show for it. If
That'd be
that's
awesome.
all right with you.
Love it. Wherever it can be used.
That's wonderful. That's just fantastic. Wow. Lost for words. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, music
Great
is
song.
so important. It's so important to me, especially after losing my vision. You know, it's really the only outlet that I can do all by myself. You know, it doesn't matter where I am, and I've always been a writer. So, you know, if I've got the music, that's why I like to just kind of rework songs, because the music's already there. You just rewrite the song and it works. It works well.
Very cool. So since you brought up your vision, and I'm not going to call it a handicap. I'm sure you don't either. We in the crew, we joke around a lot with each other, and we tease each other a lot. And there's one thing that I'm like my father on. If I tease you, and this is my confession, all right? If I tease you, and have fun with you, it means that there's a bond and I like you. If I ignore you, I don't like you. And teasing you is just one way of showing my affection for people.
Absolutely.
So any of our watchers watching, Adam has such a fine sense of humor that he allows me to just, when we're doing the testing to get ready for tonight, we had a whole new system that put in here in the studio, and Davey and I forgot one thing: speakers. So I couldn't hear a damn thing. I had to go rushing around the house, get speakers. And the only thing I could think of was, this is going to be a great show tonight. I got a blind guy and a deaf guy now. So, and because I spent so much time in my life doing improv comedy, everything is just off the cuff, and I have a good time. We even have a very special project that we're working on down into the year to make a pirate video, in a bar kind of a thing. We're not going to tell anybody all about it, but we've already got a good place for Adam, because everybody that I talk to, when I talk to people about Adam and about the video that we want to do and everything else, and the way he's got his gear on his face right now, it's like, if you're a Mel Brooks fan, you know exactly what I'm thinking of right now.
Lincoln.
And if you need an extra hint, yes, I've worn tights before. And we'll just leave it at that. All right. So how long have you two been together doing music?
Together, it's been just over 10 years now.
Really? 10 years?
Yeah. Music.
Wow. I didn't even know that.
And then music, we were married. Actually, our official church wedding was 1 year ago on Valentine's Day, but we were actually married a year before that, legally. So.
But gigging out, we've been, I think it was 2018. Was it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's 2018 was when was when we got our first gig and started playing out.
Very cool.
Yeah, I never could play an instrument before. I tried for years to play a guitar, and I've got some genetic tendon issues in my hands, and just wasn't able to do it. And after I lost my vision, really, I sat and felt sorry for myself for about a year, and then figured, well, that's not working, and we've got a lot more life to live. So went and got my amateur radio license and did that for a few years, and still do and enjoy talking all over the world. But one day went to dinner, and it was happened to be a ukulele meeting of some kind, and I was just listening to people talk, and they were like, oh, there's only 4 strings, they're nylon strings, not steel strings. And I thought, well, maybe I could do that. And that was on a Wednesday. And Friday we went and I bought one, and in 2 weeks I was playing like a pro. But I hated how it sounded. I mean, there's ukuleles just have this sound, and they're great for certain things, but there aren't a lot of bars and restaurants looking for a ukulele player. You just aren't. Even if you're really good, you say, oh, I play ukulele, they're like, no, not interested.
Well, you could always tell people that you play in the shower and that your guitar shrank.
Right. And I never really liked the sound, but I was happy that I could play, and it was awesome. And me and Christy could sit down and sing together. And really, when I first did it, that's all I wanted. I just wanted to be able to sing and accompany myself and not have to worry about anything, and go to the park and sing with Christy. But I hated the sound. And so there's basically 4 different sizes of ukuleles. They've got the small soprano, which is the little tiny ones you see. Then they've got the next one up, which is a concert, which is the one I bought originally. They've got the next one up from that is a tenor, and then finally a baritone. And the baritone's a little bit bigger than all the rest, and it's tuned differently. It's tuned like a standard guitar, just the high 4 strings of the guitar. It's missing the 2 bass strings. And it sounded okay, but it's still, no one was hiring, and I hated how it sounded. But I had my guitar that I had tried to play for years hanging on the wall, and one day I thought, well, if it's tuned the same and there's just 2 missing strings, why don't I pull the 2 bass strings off? So there's 6 strings on a regular guitar, and move the 4 to the center, so you got 2 open slots on each side, and play it. And I took it to a guitar shop, and he said, nope. I said, well, why not? And he goes, because you just can't do that. And I'm like, well, if I pay you, can you do it? And he says, oh, I guess. And he did it, and I've been doing it ever since. It works great. And now he's a great friend, and is constantly like looking for other ways to improve, or give me a better dexterity on playing. But yeah, that's why I came up with strings. I play 4 strings. Most people don't realize it because it's a regular standard guitar with 6 tuners, but there's only 4 strings on here. And
so you're playing a guitar like it would normally be a ukulele.
Basically, yeah, like a baritone uke.
Wow, that's very interesting. That's pretty cool, actually. I was going to ask you, so on your guitar there, because of your dexterity and steel strings were a problem, are those all nylon strings in?
Nope, these are steel. With the 4 strings, it was okay because you don't have to spread your hands out as much. It's all real confined right into this little small area in the center of the guitar.
Is it possible also that because of the loss of your sight, that your dexterity changed a bit and improved in a different way, and that might have helped your dexterity some?
I would say maybe probably that has more just to do with doing it in practice.
Well, that's true too.
But actually, my tendon issues have gotten considerably worse over the years. I mean, I don't know if you can see on camera, but like that is as straight as I can make my fingers on that hand.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
I feel for you there because I'm a magician and I do a lot of close-up work, and there are a couple of tricks that I have problems making work or get really nervous when I do them now, because at certain tight spots when my fingers are doing stuff that you're not supposed to be seeing, I come close to dropping things.
Right.
So it really bothers me that at my age but it's not tendon problem like you have. It's probably more arthritis. And so I have problems making my hands and my fingers do certain things. So I have to either take a step or two back, like you did with the ukulele to a guitar. I have to take a step back and figure out, okay, can I do this same trick but do it in a different direction?
Right.
So you adapt,
Yep.
and overcome. That's a good pirate logo or pirate
For
slogan.
sure.
Adapt and overcome. Very
That's
good.
right.
So Christy, when you sing, do you play an instrument too? I've never seen you play an instrument. Have I?
No,
You
I
just-
don't. You don't want to hear me play an instrument. You really don't. It's not pretty.
not even now. I don't know if you all are catching it, but a couple of people have popped up. My brother plays drums and bongos and everything else. And see who else popped up. Scarlett, I think, popped up with bass. Ransom Mayhem, that's my brother. He asked if the guitar strings are those guitar strings or ukulele strings.
These are guitar strings, regular standard guitar. I just leave the 2 bass strings out. So this is just a D, G, B, E string.
So my brother plays, Scarlett plays. We actually could have a pretty interesting band.
That'd be awesome.
I like it.
In February, there's a private event in our backyard for the Order of Leviathan members that are staying into the next year. And my brother just popped that back up on there again. It's a private event, but I know that Mark Miller, who's being inducted, he's part of Rusty Cutlass, and his son will be here, and they have the octatina. We may, a few other people that have musical instruments, if they're able to come, we might. I know it's on a Sunday night, and that may not work out for you guys for that weekend. In fact, I believe you can't do it that weekend, can you?
No, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, I thought so. But you never know. We'll see what we can do. Down the road, maybe we'll have us another party and do it again.
That'd be great.
What's your most memorable performance?
I think it was the first one. We were forced to go to an open mic because a friend had been bothering us forever, and we had 3 songs. We knew 3 songs, and we did our, went up and did our 3 songs and sat back down, and the owner came over and says, "You guys are great. I want to hire you for a gig. Are you available next week?" And I'm like, I just kind of laughed and I said, "We know 3 songs." And he started rolling. He's like, "Well, when you guys get 3 hours, let me know you've got a gig." And actually, that was our first gig that we ever did. What was it? About 3 months later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
3 months later, we went back, and that was our first gig at Pesky Pelican. Yep.
If there's any of the watchers that have any questions, pop them up there for us. That don't. Hellfire, you got a question for them? You have anything? I know that you are always curious.
Surprisingly, I don't really have a question, but I do get to talk to Adam and Christy a lot, and I love what they do, especially that song they just played for us. That was amazing, guys.
Will, the historian, just said he plays a mean kazoo.
Nice.
I like the kazoo.
Hey, you know what?
Yeah.
A whole bunch of us playing kazoo.
There you
I
go.
play, you know what? I can play the spoons.
Nice.
Oh, I like it.
And there's a band here, Firewater Tent Revival, here on the West Coast. I'm a big fan of theirs, and they've played for 1 or 2 of our events, and they're kind of like a hoedown bluegrass country 70s music, that kind of a thing. And they have a washboard.
I love it.
Oh.
And if I'm in the crowd or in the audience, no matter where they're playing, they bring me up and I get to play the washboard. So I can play the washboard too.
Nice.
Awesome.
They're really cool. But it's things like that. My brother says I can't even play the radio. At least I can play a pirate.
True.
Mhm.
Aye. So it's really good to have talent and to share. I posted something on Facebook the other day, collaboration over competition.
Yep, I saw that.
And my idea of collaboration is that you find other people with talents around you and you bring them together so that whatever you do, if they're included, all the talents together make for an even better show. I don't even have a problem. When I was younger, I used to have this problem that I couldn't perform in any show that there were other magicians.
Hmm.
Mhm.
And I didn't even like hanging around other magicians. That's changed over the last 15 years or so. I don't have as much a problem anymore. Al Lane plays the screeching vocal cords. Is that before or after Tia is stepping on your toes? So it's great to have talented people as part of the crew and to look at other possibilities down the road. And I've already laid out some work together for a great cause. That's Ransom Mayhem. And that's exactly right. Collaboration over competition. The problem is people don't understand that competition is not detrimental. And there are certain people in the world that they are, they're very intense when it comes to competition.
Right.
And that intensity causes issues and causes problems. It does not cause positive problems. It causes negative problems.
Well, you know, being in the industry, it is competitive, and you do have to you do have to promote yourself. You just do, or you don't work. I mean, that's just how it is. But we are unique, at least in this area, you know, and I can only speak in this area. We're fairly unique because we love work and we love to do this, but we never consider, like, if we go to Pesky Pelican, we don't consider that our spot. You know, we're happy to be there. We're glad that they enjoy us and that they paid us. But if, you know, we also go and we enjoy watching other musicians.
Right.
And if there's a musician that can come in there and pull a better audience and do a better job for the Pesky Pelican, then that's who needs to be there. That's not my spot. You know, we want to promote our small businesses. We want them to succeed. And if there's somebody else that fills that slot better, well, then that's who needs to be there. And we need to go find the slot that we fit.
Talent's not the only thing that makes you a good entertainer.
Right.
I mean, talent helps. Persona helps. But it's not just talent. I would do lectures for magicians, and I do an acting class. And in the acting class, I actually tell people I'm not really that great a magician. I know guys, young guys especially, that can do some of the most amazing card tricks in the world. I can't do those. Mostly because I didn't start doing them 30 years ago or 40 years ago. I do what I like. I do what pleases the crowd. But I'm a terrible magician. But I'm a great storyteller, and no ego involved here. I am a very good entertainer because the magic is the tool. And I get the same thing out of you guys too. And I'm not downplaying your talents as musicians, but right. I believe you're a show. You are entertaining, and that's the best part. Right. Some wise words were given to me when I was working in Las Vegas. And the man said, and I'll tell you who the man was after I tell you what he said. The man, and he was so gracious to young people coming up in the comedy world. He said, those that have lots of talent don't need to worry about their ego. And those that have little talent, that's all they have is their ego.
Yeah.
And that was Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it was those, I still live by those words. It makes it hard at times because the other part that's really hard for entertainers, we do wear our heart on our sleeve. So we do what we do, not for self-promotion, but to give pleasure and happiness to others. That's true, Ransom Mayhem. That's very true. So, Davey, you got any questions for them? I know that you're always busy watching all the screens and taking care of things. If it wasn't for the Navigator, this show would suck.
We would sink.
It's the Navigator that really helps do things. But in the long run, if you think about it, on a pirate ship, the captain just stood there and gave orders, but it was the navigator and the quartermaster that did everything. So the captain just looks good.
I do enjoy playing with him, though.
Yes, so it's a lot of fun to have Adam and Christy at our events, and Hellfire is brand new to the crew, and he's learning things and he's getting into it. That we have a potential couple that they may be watching tonight. And if they are, Ragnar, if you're watching, hello, if you hear us, that's great. I know that they were on the road tonight, so they may not, but They're down out of Orlando, and they've come up here and done some research, much like Hellfire did, and much like you and Christy did, Adam. And they've decided that our crew is the crew they want to join.
Nice.
He was a squire at Medieval Times for a while,
Oh,
Cool.
so that's some good extra talent for us.
for sure.
And she sings, and he also is works as a videographer for a company.
Nice.
And Davey and I talked about him last night. So Davey's on board with hoping to get them to join. But I sent them the link to our Halloween video that we did, Davey.
Mhm.
And he came back and said 10 out of 10 stars. He loved it. So to add somebody else into our mix that can help us do even more of what we're doing just makes
That'll
it
be
better
awesome.
for us. And that's what it's all about. And that's another reason why we do the podcast, which gives us the opportunity to have a good time and work with other people who have the same mind and are not worried about their egos being bruised or having to wear, the most feathers or the biggest hat or the fanciest clothes or whatever else. It's about the entertainment part of it.
Yeah.
I will offer up to Paper and Strings to come to my event here in Panama City Beach for Pirates of the White Sands for our area that we set up. It's a 3-day event. If I can get them to go, we're going to bring them along. And if we can figure out what to do with them, it's a 3-day in Panama City in October. And the nice thing about it, it's the Pirates of the White Sands is Ransom Mayhem's pirate crew, and the event's called Pirates of the High Seas.
Nice.
And they haven't done it the last 2 years because of COVID, but we've provided video services for them, so they've done video online stuff. But I take my traveling museum, I take my magic show, and we have a righteously good time over there doing all kinds of things.
Awesome.
The nice thing about it is, and here's one of the reasons it's one of the best pirate. I'm not crew, but I'm always happy to lend one of my talents to the Swashbucklers. Scarlett, you're semi crew as far as I'm concerned. You're part of the crew. So the nice thing about Panama City's Pirates of the White Sands, Pirates of the High Seas is when the Swashbucklers go over there, they provide us with a condo. And the condos usually sleep 10. And if we have enough, we end up with 2 condos. So we're all rooming together for the whole weekend. We're all providing food because there's kitchens and everything. So we're not spending all our money out. So
Awesome.
basically, have them private message. You got it. So basically, the only thing it costs is everybody to get their gas to get over there, and everything else is taken care of. And
on that subject, Captain, just to let him and anyone also know that I know that the Swashbucklers, we have lots of sound equipment and stuff too, but we are also fully capable of setting up small venues, as small as one room, and we've done events as large as 5,000. We've got a fairly large sound system capable of running just about anything. So if anybody needs those services as well, we're more than happy to help out wherever we can.
Just what we need, another cat butt in the picture. Yeah, Adam.
Don't talk about Christy that way.
Davey and I were talking last night about Zachary. That date is whatever Columbus weekend is, Columbus Day weekend in October. Davey and I were inventorying or getting ready to inventory the entire sound system we have here. We have 6 microphones, 4 speakers, 1 monitor, lights, and everything else, and combine it with what you've got. We've got enough to do really a show. And the idea is for us to maybe start presenting an actual traveling pirate show too.
Right.
So we'll have to sit down one of the weekends that you're over here. We'll have to sit down and when some things mellow out, I've already told Kara I'd like to come over and go over to the Pelican and sit and enjoy a couple of drinks and listen to you guys play. So we may take a drive over one day. We may surprise you.
That'd be awesome.
We would love it.
Very good. So anything else for now? Because I want to step up to a couple of other things and just get them out of the way so that maybe if I get them out of the way quick enough, then we can talk with our guests a little bit more and have some more fun about pirates. But one of the things we want to talk about is history, which we always do. And Davey, I'm going to do mine first.
You forgot Crew Adventures.
What's that? Oh, yes, that's right. Thank you very much. That's another reason why. Ladies and gentlemen, the cruise journey, the crew adventure for 2022, there's the things that are on our calendar now. Celtic Music Festival, in March. And as of today, we're still working on ideas and a contract for the St. Augustine Seafood Company, which is no longer, or Seafood Festival, which is no longer the Seafood Festival, but Spring Fling. June 18th will be the gala that we put on. It is non-pirate. It is Shakespearean. I'll be going over to Pirates of Pontchartrain in Louisiana in April. Of course, there's our logo for the podcast, which is every Monday night that we hope to share with all the other crew and the other crews in Florida. And then, of course, we do our Christmas Village. It's already on set for next year, or this year coming up. And our Halloween Village. As other events pop up and start to work its way in, we'll have more in there. Be watching, because we are 25% into the idea of a rum festival here in St. Augustine. The Colonial Quarter wants to do a rum festival, and they've asked me to help them out. So we're going to do a rum festival, and we already have 6 or 7 rums that are interested in being a part of it. So we're in good shape with that one already. And when we finally pick the weekend, obviously I want Christy and I want Paper and Strings to come and sing for us.
Nice.
As part of the rum
you.
festival. It'll be a full day event on a Saturday, and we'll let you know the dates here soon.
Yeah, we'll try. If there's rum, we might have a hard time with Christy.
Well, and the other thing too is those kind of events like that, especially, there'll be compensation in there for you too. Just because you're part of the crew, I don't, David knows, and some of the other crew members that may be watching, I don't ask the crew to work every event for free. If they're corporate type events like a rum festival or whatever, if I can figure out ways to bring some money in that the crew get to have their food or their gas or their drinks paid for the day, I at least will do that, and sometimes more. That way, you still get to have fun being a pirate, and it doesn't take any money out of your pocket. And you can use the money that you would have normally used to do all that and spend it on more clothes and more fun. So that's how we do the Swashbucklers here. So now that I've done that, let's talk history. Davey, I'll do mine first, or do you want to do yours?
No, you go ahead and do yours.
I'll do mine. You got some of those you got those pictures I sent you already?
Yes. Yep.
Let's see what we can do here. And yes, I have to put them on. I'm strong to the finish because I eat me spinach. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. Ladies and gentlemen, Popeye. January 17th, 1929, the cartoon character Popeye makes his debut. There it is, Popeye. How about January 17th, 1920? Oh, there's all the characters of Popeye. Wimpy, Sweet Pea, Olive Oil, Brutus, and for the life of me, I can't remember the name of the animal.
Jeep.
There it is. Thank you very much. Very good.
Jeep.
All right. Now, how about January 17th, 1929? No, I'm sorry, 1920. Prohibition begins. Can you imagine that? We're not allowed to have alcohol. The 18th Amendment goes into effect. While it did not prohibit the consumption of alcohol, it did ban the sale, manufacture, and transportation of alcohol. Wait a minute. If you can't make it, sell it, or buy it, or transport it, how can you consume it? Anyway, the Volstead Act, that was the enactment of it. It defined the terms used in the 18th Amendment. The 18th Amendment was repealed in 1933 by the 21st Amendment. 1920 to 1933, because of Prohibition, ladies and gentlemen, that is the heyday of the gangsters, and all because of Prohibition. How about January 17th, 1917? The United States purchases the Virgin Islands for $25 million in gold. A lot of money. January 17th, 1981, and I put this in because I was there. President Reagan's inaugural celebration throws the most expensive inaugural celebration in American history. The cost back then was $11 million. He was probably considered, and some people will argue with me on this, and that's okay. You can argue if you like. One of the greatest presidents of our time. I was in the military back then. I was honored to have shaken his hand several times, had conversation with him, and my job during his inaugural was security of all the vehicles that were handling all the celebrities that came to the inaugural celebration, which was a week long, which got me to meet Tom Selleck, Muhammad Ali, Don Rickles, even got a kiss on the cheek from Donna Summers in full view of a camera. So, ladies and gentlemen, it was a great time. And he was a great president, and I'm very proud to be a part of that piece of American history. How about January 18th? So we're going to go, we do the several things that happen all the way up till next Monday. January 18th, 1919, World War I ends, the Paris Peace Conference. Following the end of World War I, they set the peace terms, and that people believe that the creation of the peace terms of World War I are actually what created all the steps that brought World War II about. Yeah. January 18th, 1911, the first airplane to ever land on a ship. This is for our Navy boys. Did you find that picture there, Mr. Davey? I actually found a picture of that plane landing on a ship. There it is, the USS Pennsylvania. And there's a plane landing on it in 1911. How about that? So there's the first aircraft carrier for all our Navy people watching. How about, ladies and gentlemen, January 18th, 1778, the Hawaiian Islands become the first European, what's this guy's name? I can't even read it. I need better light. There it is. James Cook, becomes the first European to discover the Hawaiian Islands. Here's one that I thought was outlandishly interesting. The year is 1644, January 18th. UFOs are sighted over Boston Harbor and described as two lights with sparks flying between them. They are believed to be same UFOs that appeared earlier in 1939. How about that? The first UFO sightings were in the 1640 and 1639.
Interesting.
Georgia succeeds from the Union in 1861 on January 19th. The first nuclear submarine, the USS Nautilus. I wonder where they got that name, ladies and gentlemen. It's launched, and the launch was attended by U.S. President Dwight David Eisenhower and his wife, Mamie Eisenhower. It became the first submarine to complete a submerged transit of the North Pole in 1958. 1861. Now, this will be a touchy one. I don't mean it to be a touchy one in anyone's mind here, but it is interesting, and it is part of our American history. Jefferson Davis, in what he later describes as the saddest day of my life, resigns from the United States Senate and returns to Mississippi, following its secession from the Union earlier that month. He became the president of the Confederacy the following month. Davis had previously served in the United States military and as Secretary of War from 1853 to 1857. This one's a good one too. January 23rd, 1977. Were any of you alive then?
I was.
Okay. The TV miniseries Roots begins, airing on ABC for 8 consecutive nights. The story of Kunta Kinte, LeVar Burton, who becomes very famous, and he goes on to do much for children as far as reading is concerned in Sesame Street. It drew 130 million viewers for its conclusion, making it the highest-rated TV program up to that time. The series received 37 Primetime Emmy Awards, winning 9 of them. It is considered to be the first blockbuster miniseries. And finally, 1968, January 23rd, the USS Pueblo captured. North Koreans captured the USS Pueblo, and the captain and the crew are held captive for 11 months. Now, ladies and gentlemen, look at this picture. These men are the crew of the Pueblo. They were trotted out on a regular basis to have their picture taken to prove to the American people that they were being treated fairly. Look at the man sitting third from the left. Anybody see his hand? Ladies and gentlemen, he did that in many, many poses, in many pictures. They also, all of them there are a couple of pictures of them showing the Hawaiian peace sign. And the North Koreans, when they finally figured it out, stopped taking pictures of them. Ladies and gentlemen, that's our men, our Navy, defiant even as prisoners of war. And yes, that was a wartime situation. So those are the ones I had. Davey, did you have any that were similar or even better?
Oh, yes. Now that people can sit back, take a sip of rum, and I'll play my little video.
Wow, what a week it was, isn't it? I tell you, Davey, I think we're finding way too much history.
There was double that.
It is really, but hey, that's how we learn. We post these things, and there's things that I see that I learn, and it gives us something to learn and have a good time with. So before we get out of here, ladies and gentlemen, I want to show you something.
Uh-oh.
That right there are the poker chips, the coin.
Cool.
Nice.
There it is right there. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you are a Patreon member, a $5 member, you get one of these. We will give it to you. It has the logo on the front side, and it has the words, part of the podcast, part of the crew, always. And go to Patreon. And do we have that on the ticker tape at the bottom there, Davey? If not, we'll start putting it up there for everybody on the next show. But go and actually, I believe we have at least 2 members right now. Boo, 2. We're happy. We're excited. It's bringing in more and more fun. We're now starting to get people that want to come and be a part of the show from other parts outside the state. And this is a call to anybody that's watching that is part of a crew. If you're the captain of a crew or part of the crew, last week we brought Scarlett Deerheart in. And we talked about her crew and about her Shiver Me pictures, the photo booth that she does. And we'll continue to bring our crew members in as they become available and are ready to do it. And we'd like to do other things. We're going to talk to the crew that's Scarlet Fortuna. We'd like to have them be a part. We know that that would be one. And obviously the Pirates of the White Sands over in Panama City. And we're open to anybody, but they must contact us. We ask them to contact us because that shows that they would like to do that. I know you said it is every month, but what if someone wants to make full payment at one time, not monthly? We have no control over that. That is Patreon's, and I don't know if they have that option or not. I'll be happy to go and look that up and find out, but we have no control over that. That is the way Patreon does it. And then they don't just send us some money. We have to actually go onto their website and request it to be downloaded into the podcast account. So we hope that you'll join us and be a part of it. We've hit our 1 hour point, but ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about a couple of our sponsors. There's Scarlett Deerheart. There's the Pirate and Treasure Museum. Let's see what else is in there. Our charities, St. Augustine Youth Services, Inc., Investing in Kids, the Colonial Oak, which we probably will be using for a couple of events coming up. Obviously, Mayhem Productions, Old City Pirate Fest, which is postponed until 2023. And we'd like to have your logo in this frame and as part of our sponsors of our podcast. So contact us, let us know. We're working on all the possibilities and ways to make it happy for you to be one of our many sponsors as part of the show. Is there anything else that has popped up that I might have missed?
I do have, if people want to get in touch with Paper and Strings to maybe book them, there's their email address.
Awesome.
All right, very good.
Thank you.
Very good. Contact them and book them. We highly recommend them. It would be really wonderful to have them have more work than they know what to do with.
Yes. And Captain, we would also like to talk to you and Davey about becoming a sponsor of the podcast.
But we will for sure talk about that. And in fact, one of the things that you get as a Patreon member, ladies and gentlemen, if you are a sponsor, or was it Patreon that you get to have a look into our after show?
Yeah, if you're the first mate. Uh-huh.
So if you're the first mate membership for the Patreon, every so often you're invited to sit. We sit for about 30 minutes to an hour. One night we sat for 2 hours just talking about what possibilities there are, and we take input from anybody that wants to. Sponsorship would guarantee, if you wanted to be a sponsor, we bring people in to be sponsors. They'll get to be on that frame at the end of every show, but they will have one show dedicated to them in the time frame that they pick for the year. And we would also then be mentioning them in other ways and to be a part of it, especially on some of our banners that we put out at some of our events. So we'll talk to you about it and see what we can do. We'd love to have you as be a sponsor. And I think we've had a good show tonight. What do you say, Mr. Longwood?
Aye.
All right. How about you, Mr. Hellfire?
I think this was a very great show.
A very good show. So before we hit that, leave it up there just a moment there, Mr. Davey. Before we hit that, I'd like to say a very special thank you for several reasons to have Adam and Christy here on our show as special guests and as part of the crew. It means a lot to me to have people like you join forces with us and be a part of the St. Augustine Swashbucklers and to help support this podcast, which I really have complete confidence that as the year goes through, this is going to be a pretty big thing. So anything you want to say in closing? The floor is yours before we go through our last phrase.
Nope. We just want to thank you and the crew for always being so gracious and for providing excellent opportunities to support the local community and charities.
All right. Well, we appreciate you being there. So, Mr. Hellfire, Mr. Longwood, I believe it's time to say what we say.
Part of the podcast.
Part of the crew.
Always, and we see you next week.